Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
Pretty good ball game last night, of course, up until the top of the 10th inning. San Diego knotting up the series at one game apiece, and tonight it's the rubber game of the series as interleague action wraps up. It's the Padres and the Angels in Game 3. Hi, everybody, from inside the Big A. We welcome you back to Angels Baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and Mike Scioscia tonight gets the opportunity to hand the ball off to Garrett Richards on the mound. Terrific numbers in interleague action for him, and Gooby, he's thrown the ball well. What has been the deciding factor for him of late?
Yeah, Victor, he has dominant stuff. Take a look at our tools of the trade brought to you by Ram Trucks. You're going to see why Garrett Richards is so special. He has 5 different pitches. We're going to show you the different grips. 2 pitches in particular that have been dominant. His 4-seam fastball that has cutting action. He has that grip. He gets on top of it. A hitter reads a fastball, middle part of the plate, but then it gets to the plate, cutting action away. A lot of velocity on that fastball, but also when he wants to get the swing and miss, he goes to his slider. Same arm angle as his fastball, stays on top of it, and that snap action gets Chris Carter to swing over top of that nasty slider. His slider, 87 to 89, his fastball, cut fastball, 97 miles an hour. That's what makes him so dominant, Victor. He can get any hitter, even the best of hitters, to look bad at the plate.
Well, as good as Garrett Richards is, the Padres will counter with a youngster that has got pretty good stuff himself, Andrew Cashner. A couple of young players at battery mates tonight.
Yeah, both these guys have very good. I mean, when you talk about Hedges, he's very good defensive catcher behind the plate for San Diego. Went to J. Sarah High School. Local boy right here. Very good skills. He's got a very good throwing arm. Now, Cashner, he's got a power fastball himself. He can rush it up there, 97, 98, very good slider. So this should be a very good matchup. And also, 5th star for Hedges. He's got a lot of family and friends. It's going to be fun for him tonight.
Birthday boy Garrett Richards on the mound, looking to pick up the series as we're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. CarMax. CarMax start here. By Jack in the Box. Try the new legendary buttery Jack from Jack in the Box today. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers. feels like here in Southern California. The Padres and the Angels wrapping up this 3-game set, and Garrett Richards and the Angels not wasting any time and taking the field and trying to get this one started. A pretty good pitching matchup on paper between Garrett Richards and Andrew Cashner. And we will take a look at Bud Black's starting lineup for the Padres tonight at 22-25 on the season, 7 back in the National League West. And it's pretty much the exact same lineup that we saw last night. The only difference is that Norris will serve as the DH tonight. Amarista jumps up to the 8th spot. He'll play shortstop. And doing the catching, as we just pointed out in the open, is Austin Hedges, the product of J. Serra High School, born in San Juan Capistrano. That is the starting 9 for the San Diego Padres. Taking on Garrett, comes into this one at 4-2 on the season, a 2.98 earned run average, and celebrating his 27th birthday today.
Yeah, the birthday boy has been outstanding this season. A 4-2 record, ERA under 3 at 2.98. But the big thing for me, for Garrett, what he has done this season is utilize that great slider he has. 37% of the pitches he's thrown this year has been a slider. First pitch he's been able to throw for strikes, get ahead when he wants that swing and miss, but also when he's been behind in the count, he's been able to throw his slider and get it in the strike zone to get back in the counts. That's what makes Garrett so special, not only this season, but last year also.
Let's check out the defense behind Richards tonight. Matt Joyce in left, Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right. The infield has David Freese and Eric Ibar on the left side, Grant Green and Albert Pujols on the right side, and Carlos Perez behind the plate.
And even though Richards will get his share of strikeouts, the infield defense is important, and Grant Green getting that start at second base. Had 3 starts at second base in AAA, played a number of different positions. Originally drafted as a shortstop, but he will get a lot of action at second base, both turning double plays and ground balls his way with Richards on the mound.
Mike Scioscia stating that Johnny Giavitello will still certainly get the bulk of the playing time, but Grant obviously invaluable in that he can bounce around and give Scioscia some opportunities to kind of fill out the starting lineup. Colin Cowgill's been dealing with a sore right hand. And, of course, the Angels did make a trade today, although he's not here as of yet. Kirk Neuenhuis from the New York Mets. He's an outfielder, left-handed batter, product of Azusa Pacific University, was acquired today by the Angels in exchange for cash considerations. And they expect that he will be here tomorrow. And at that point, the Angels will have to make a roster move on the 25-man roster in order to add him to the active squad. Got all that?
Got all that. I'm writing it all down.
All right, I see you working over there. Yangervis Solarte leading things off, swinging at the first pitch, and he will single to right field. So 1 pitch and a base hit for Solarte. Came at batting .275.
Hyundai key for this game tonight with Garrett Richards on the mound, going a little queen. Another one bites the dust. His stuff has been outstanding, and his stuff, especially in interleague play. 3-0 mark with an ERA 0.80 in his career in interleague play. That covers 56 in the 3rd innings pitch for Garrett Richards.
That is the lowest mark in Major League history. 30 innings minimum. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Incredible. Facing Will Venable. He swings the first pitch and fouls one off to the left, and it's an 0-1 count.
Well, you can see they're being aggressive, trying to get the first pitch fastball. They don't want to deal with either the cut fastball or slider from Richards tonight.
Solarte off to a pretty decent lead over at first. And a snap throw to first base on a back pick, and almost got him. Pujols thinks that they got him. And so Dino Evil will check.
Oh, what a throw, too, from Perez. And a quick tag.
Mike Scioscia is going to come out. They're going to want to review this one.
Solarte looks like he's hurt going back to the base, also his arm. See where the tag is, and he's out. There's no doubt he's not on the base at that point. There's no question.
A terrific throw by Carlos Perez.
And a good hard tag, and he kept the tag on him by Albert Pujols. Perez has a very good throwing arm.
Trying to think where Solarte may have gotten hurt. Maybe it's the hand going into the bag, but Carlos Perez making a quick throw to first base.
Look how quick that transfer and throw. It's not an easy play for a first baseman with that quick of a throw.
And it's certainly not easy for a catcher with a left-handed batter in the box. Headsets are off. And Ted Barrett is going to call Solarte out. So there's a pickoff for Carlos Perez in the first out of the ballgame.
That was a great idea and great job by Albert Pujols, straight away pointing in to Mike Scioscia to check that. But hopefully Solarte's all right. Maybe jammed his shoulder going back. See the tag and then the hand finally getting there, but the tag was already applied before he got his fingers back. He tried to use that back part of the base.
Ibar near the bag at second, throws off balance, 2 outs.
Another good defensive play because that baseball was going right towards the second base bag. Eric kept his eye on the baseball. Made a nice play.
Yeah, not sure about Garrett going up with a bare hand, though, to try to knock that ball down.
He's too valuable, especially that hand, that pitching hand. Stay away from doing that. Tough play. What a job by Eric Ibar. There's a reason why he's won a Gold Glove.
So 2 outs, nobody on, and Justin Upton up. Upton hitting .288, 12 home runs, 35 runs batted in. 1 for 4 game last night. He was the second out of the 10th inning against Joe Smith, and it was a punch out. Joe on the verge of getting out of a big situation, his bases loaded, before Kemp cleared the bases with a double down the left field line. Challenged him, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
96-mile-an-hour fastball. Perez setting a low target away, but that fastball had some running action upstairs at 96. Both these pitchers tonight have great fastballs.
Breaking ball in there. 2 balls and 2 strikes now.
Exactly that point about getting back into counts with his slider. That's the get-over slider. Now if he elects to go with his swing and miss slider, it's even better.
And there it is. Down goes Upton. Top of the first. It's in the books. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. Ibar, John and Pujols coming up with no score. Halos at 23 and 23 with a loss last night. At the start of the day, tied for second, 6.5 back in the West. Eric Ibar leading things off at short. Mike Trout at center. Albert Pujols at first. Cole Calhoun in right. David Freese at third. Matt Joyce in left. Chris Sinet is the DH and Carlos Perez the catcher. So both catchers in the starting lineup. And that's something I don't think I recall ever seeing Mike Scioscia do. And it's Grant Green batting ninth and playing second base as they take on the 28-year-old right-hander native of Lufkin, Texas, the big Andrew Kashner.
Yeah, Kashner has a very good fastball, 93 to 97, slider, curve, changeup. Don't look at that record. ERA is outstanding. The keys to go to, get in the hitter's counts, look for that fastball, and then early game success. If ever there's a time to get them, it's early in the game.
Ibar will look at a fastball that just misses outside. Eric hitting .271. Has a home run and 14 runs batted in. 1 for 4 last night with a single and a walk. Cashner falls behind here. 2-0. Ducks scoring. They trail Chicago 3-2. Game 6 in Chicago. And the Ducks apparently on the power play as we speak. This one lifted foul and out of play. It's 2 balls and a strike. Ibar in that leadoff spot for the 18th game. In this spot, he's hit .229. On-base percentage of .280. But the way the lineup has been configured with Cole Calhoun being dropped to the cleanup spot, the one guy that Mike Scioscia feels the most confidence in to put in that #1 spot, and considering how the rest of the lineup has played out, basically from 5 through 9, it's kind of a pickup, and that's the guy with the most experience and has done it before.
Yeah, and also a guy that Mike Scioscia can put some situational hitting on. He can have him stealing bases.
Two on the way. That's down and in. Full count. Trout on deck. Pujols to follow. Cashner came in with a 1-7 record, but a 2.89 ERA. 57 hits in 56 innings. He has struck out 54. Doesn't walk many. Ibar lofts one out to shallow left, and it's a leadoff single for Eric.
Oh, nature boy, Ric Flair. Start off the game now. You got some action potentially, especially with Trouty coming to the plate. You want that distraction. A good lead from Eric Ibar. Force more fastballs for Trout. Inner half of the plate. This got enough of that bat on it to flare it into left field. Eric Ibar has now hit safely the last 17 of the last 18 games.
Trout fouls off the first pitch. Mike last night went 0 for 4. The Angels managed a total of 5 hits. Just off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Conroy calling the balls and strikes tonight. Angel Hernandez at first, Scott Berry at second, and the crew chief Ted Barrett at third. Big lead for Ibar at first. Solarte stayed in the game, so perhaps just a bruised ego for Solarte after getting picked off by Perez in the top of the inning. He's got to deal with the sunshine, the ribbon of sunshine right across the bag there. Down low, nice block by Hedges, and it's 2-1.
Nelson Hedges is a very good defensive catcher. In high school started out, he's a middle infielder, and then Brett Kay, the coach at Jay Serra, moved him to that catching position. He's been outstanding as a catcher.
That is out towards center field. Didn't square it up. Venable is there, 1 out. So Ibar back to first. Albert Pujols now up. Albert had a couple of hits last night, 2 for 4, a couple of singles. Batting average of .235, 8 home runs, 17 runs batted in. Takes down and in. The Angels were 11-11 in the month of April. In the month of May, they are 12-12. Pitching has been pretty solid in the month of May. The offense has hit the exact same batting average they did in the first month of the season. That's .232 going into action tonight. And when you look at the Angels lineup, really it's been Trout and Calhoun. For an extent there, Eric Ibar when he got on that hit streak. But aside from that, it's been sporadic. It's been difficult for the Angels to put multiple runs on the board in 1 inning. And or if they do that for 1 game, they don't necessarily carry it over for multiple games.
And they've had some chances too. And they've missed some pitches they normally would drive when they're feeling comfortable at the plate.
Nice play by Solarte there on that pickoff throw.
You see that little strand of sunlight right at first base. Not easy to see if you're the first baseman. It's looking right into the sun. You see him trying to block the sun. And then that baseball almost got by him. And Castro throws hard to not only home plate, but also the first base.
Albert ahead of the count of 3 balls and no strikes.
Albert's been a lot more aggressive this year on a 3-0 count. I look for him to be swinging here if he gets pitched to drive to try to get some early runs.
3-1. No score here in the first with 1 out. Ibar a leadoff single, trying to fly ball to center. Albert cuts through that one. He's got a little sink action too at 97.
Yeah, both these pitchers have power fastballs, but they're a lot more successful when their fastballs are down in the lower part of the strike zone. Generally, power pitchers like to go upstairs with their fastball, but both are more consistent downstairs.
A swing and a miss. Ibar's on the move, and he is out at second. Eric doesn't think so. Looks like Eric saying that he tagged him in the back. So they will take a look at it. We'll hang out right here until Mike Scioscia decides.
Well, that hand sure looked like it was in there before the tag was applied. And it looks like they're going to check it. That's old school. That's like Bobby Grich used to block that second base.
Got to make sure that the hand's on the bag here, not on the knee. So if he's on the bag there, and there's the tag, that might be one of those tough ones where they tough to overturn.
From the one angle, looked like his hand was on the base, but not a lot of room to get to that base. And the one thing when you have your leg blocking the base like that, the head first slide, it's more difficult. If you go in cleat first, they will get out of the way on that slide.
The center field angle that we showed you is tough because of the knee blocking the bag.
Here's a good angle right here, should be. It looks like the hand right there is on before the tag was applied. It's a close one.
Didn't look like the hand came off either, but I think that might be just one of those tough ones. The call on the field is out. So there has to be a definitive evidence that Eric's hand got to the bag before the tag. That's kind of what we've gotten to this point with replay, at least here in the early part of the season, is that it's kind of a pick 'em. You know, if it's not definitive enough, even when we think it is, usually they defaulted to what the umpire called on the field.
Well, Hedges with a quick release too. His throw time's 1.8 to 1.95 as far as his time to throw the ball to second base. Very quick.
Long time. Ted Barrett is the crew chief. He's on the right. Scott Berry, the man on the left, the umpire on the left, is the man who called Ibar out at second.
Again, with the new rules this year, if you're right on your challenge, you can continue having challenges throughout the game. Looks like they're ready to make the call.
And the call is overturned. So Scioscia 2 for 2 tonight.
And with the man in scoring position, the offense struggling, you got to have that opportunity. Especially with Cole Calhoun. He's swung the bat very well here at the Big A this season. But Black's giving that look in as if, how's that called? Overturned.
Yeah, can't argue either. It's automatic ejection. So man in scoring position, 2 outs now. Cole Calhoun up. Cole hitting .287, 4 home runs, and 22 runs batted. Angels last night 0 for 4 with men in scoring position. 4 for 16 in the series. And the first one is bounced over to first. Solarte takes it himself, and just like that, the Angels are done here in the first. Went to the second with no score. Tonight's aerial coverage is being provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Give me that swing like you just knocked it out of the ballpark. That looked like a chopper to short.
Showing my speed, beating it out.
You got to lift and separate. Lift and separate.
No, the rib cage would go.
Oh, okay. The intercostal.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put the ball in play, make contact, use the middle of the field.
Did you ever have one of those weird injuries?
No.
No, you didn't sneeze and pull a hammy or something?
No, I just did the natural way, get hit with a line drive with a baseball, or just throwing too many sliders and have a crooked arm right now. The old-fashioned way. I earned it.
You earned it, huh?
Yes.
Matt Kemp looks at a strike. It'll be Kemp, Norris, and Spangenberg for the Padres here in the second. Garrett Richards threw 9 pitches in the first inning. 7 for strikes. Slider did not go. Kemp last night 2 for 5. Single and at bases clearing double in the 10th. 255, a home run, and 25 runs batted in. Another slider misses. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1. You mentioned that the Padres, first couple of guys up, very aggressive swinging. And with Solarte picking up the single on the first pitch of the ball game. Hitters now 5 for 14. The first pitch of an at-bat against Garrett.
I don't blame him. That might be your best chance. He's trying to establish a strike, trying to go to the outer part of the plate most times for Richards. Not as much movement necessarily on that first pitch, especially in the early part of the game.
Full count. This is towards short. Ibar has it. Spins around. Throws to first. Dug out by Pujols. 1 down. Nice play by Eric Ibar and Albert Pujols.
Well, these are already 3 outstanding defensive plays made in this game by the Angels. 2 by Ibar and 2 now by Pujols. It's a tough pick for Pujols, but what range for Eric Ibar. That looked like going to be a base hit for sure for Matt Kemp. Cuts it off, spins around, throws a low throw, firm low throw, but a good pick by Pujols. but the range for Eric Ibar, and still the accurate throw. And Albert able to scoop it.
Fastball, first pitch strike to Derek Norris, serving as a DH tonight. Caught the first 2 games of the series, hitting .282 on the season. 3 home runs and 28 runs batted in. Second on the team in RBIs. Upton leads with 35.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, thinking the same thing. So was Garrett.
Yeah, that's that unhittable spot. If you can stay there all day, you can just dominate your opponent.
1-1. Norris pulls one down the left field line, foul.
Out in front on the slider. Norris 2 for 3 in his career versus Richards. That kept now 0 for 4. And that great play by Eric Ibar against Richards.
Foul back. Richards in his last start is against Boston, picked up the win. 6 innings. They gave up 5 runs, 9 hits, walked 2 and struck out just 1.
I talked to him after that game. He just said it was one of those games you just had to battle every pitch.
Downstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He has had 2 starts in which he has struck out none in his career. One was a start against the Rangers here, in which he lasted just 2/3 of an inning. And then, of course, last year at Boston when he was injured. This one's out to left, hit pretty well. Joyce, and that's over his head. Odd angle for Matt Joyce. That ball just sails over his head. It's a double for Norris, his 17th of the year.
Yeah, for whatever reason, he sees the ball well against Richards. Now 3 for 4 in his career. 17th double this season for Norris. Slider stayed up in the zone. He stayed back. He hit that slider foul earlier in the sequence of pitches. Pulled it foul. And over the head of Matt Joyce in left field.
Corey Spangenberg, the second baseman, now up with a man in scoring position. He swings the first pitch. It's a 1 hop and a grand. 2 outs. Norris over to third.
Take a look at our lows. Never stop improving. Talking about Garrett Richards and what he has done in interleague play, especially since 2013. His ERA in interleague play 0.25. That's just 1 earned run in 36 in 2/3 innings pitched. So I think he loves interleague play.
I would imagine so.
That's unbelievable, those numbers. Some pretty good ones in that list with Kershaw, Harvey, Darvish, Scherzer, and Richards. 5 great arms.
That is down the left field line, and Middlebrooks will put the Padres on the board with a double. Again, first pitch swinging. And a lot of it is on fastballs. Middlebrooks picks up his 5th double and his 15th RBI.
And he got this fastball, that thigh high, able to turn on and hit it down left field line. 5th double. So when you see that as a pitcher, now all of a sudden you're going to start mixing in some sliders first pitch. But also, even a well-located fastball, you'll get a lot of ground balls. Just got to hope they're at infielders.
There's a breaking ball. Amarista hits one to Ibar. And there's the 3rd out. But San Diego strikes first. A couple of doubles. Middlebrooks puts the Pods up with his. It's 1-0 San Diego as we head to the bottom of the 2nd.
Jr. Sports Update. An Avenger in New York. And an unlikely team tied for first now in baseball.
David Freese looks at a strike. Freese, Joyce, and Iannetta here in the second against Cashner. .213 average for Freese, 8 home runs and 27 runs batted in. Never gets jammed and this one into the seats behind the first base dugout. Freese last night 0 for 4. Freese fouls it off to the right, so the count remains at 0-2.
I asked David Freese before the game, has he ever faced Cashner before? When he's over in the National League, he said no, but all he knows, he throws extremely hard with a power slider. Laid on that 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Cashner originally in the Cubs system, first round pick out of TCU. And then got traded to the Padres in the Anthony Rizzo deal. Last year limited to 19 starts, 2 stints on the DL. Downstairs, one with the elbow tightness, the other one with shoulder tightness.
And when you look at his record, you see 1-7. Well, you think he's really a struggle, but then his ERA coming in this game 2.89. He's just getting 2.41 runs per game. Very difficult to win those games if you're not getting run support.
This one down toward left center field. That'll get down for a hit. Upton almost misplays it into extra bases. Davis trying to go for 2, and he's in there.
I like it. With no outs, you're trying to get into scoring position for a team that's been struggling. Good play by David Freese, taking advantage because Upton went a little bit longer route for that base hit. Ended up being a double.
Yeah, kind of an odd route. And Ball also took a kind of a weird hop on him, too.
If Freese sees that baseball there in the gap, he's going to take a shot at this, get into scoring position himself. Head first slide, 9th double this season for David Freese.
Back-to-back innings in which the Angels have had a leadoff hit. And more importantly, a man in scoring position. Matt Joyce up, 3 infielders on the right side. And Joyce takes down and away. 172 batting average for the Angels left fielder. Went 0 for 3 last night. Was hit by a pitch. Two balls and no strikes. Cashner got a no decision his last start. That was against the Dodgers. His one and only win against the Cubs back on April 19th. 3-0. When you look at his lines, though, as far as earned runs, his first start of the season, he gave up 5 earned runs. The most he's given up in any of the other starts have been 4 earned runs. Earned. Twice he's given up 6 total runs. And there's a walk on 4 pitches. 2 on.
You don't get a lot of run support. You don't pitch as aggressive. I know everyone thinks, well, you're supposed to do your job. You're supposed to go out there and give the team an opportunity to win. But when you're getting 0 run support almost every game out, all of a sudden you try to be so fine on every pitch that you end up making mistakes.
And in the National League, it becomes magnified because of the double switches and pitchers not going very deep in the games. Because of that, you're playing a tight game, and the odds are your spot's going to come up in a situation where you need a pinch hitter. And so you kind of just soak it up. As Chris Iannetta steps in. 2 on. Nobody out. Chopper toward short. Amarista. Get to the Spangenberg on the first, just like that, a double play. So Iannetta swinging first pitch with 2 on and nobody out. Now there's 1 on over at third base, 2 down, and Perez coming up.
That was well played by the middle infielders for the Padres. Ball in the glove of Amarista. Flips it over to Spangenberg, who caught it with his bare hand and threw over the first base.
Perez hitting .256. One double, one home run, 6 runs batted in. Halos down 1-0 here in the second. Carlos kind of a glance back to Chris Conroy and said, that's fine. You can call it a strike as long as my guy gets that same pitch.
And right on the outside corner.
Going back outside. Chopper off the plate. Spangenberg comes in. 2 hops. Not in time. 1-1 ties. Carlos Perez with the infield base hit and RBI.
That's one of those tough plays, is it? Middle infield, you almost have to try to take away that bounce, because if you let it one more bounce, Perez has a chance of beating it out, and he did. It's a tough play. What you were hoping is you're looking up here to get one more bounce, and he did. He was able to beat it out. He gets down the line pretty good, especially when you know you got an RBI and a single.
Love the fact you just put your head down and run. Forget about what's happening with the baseball and the fielder. Just your goal, your finish line is that white pillow next to Solarte's foot.
And that's why you put the ball in play, even with 2 strikes, is try to make contact, make them make a play against you.
A hustle double by David Freese. And now an infield base hit. Grant Green looks at a strike to even the count. Grant 2 for 6 this year in the big leagues, getting the start tonight at second. Grant called up. C.J. Cron set down prior to yesterday's game. It's at 329 at AAA, late on the fastball. Game 6 of final in Chicago, 5-2 Blackhawks. So there will be a game 7 at the Honda Center Saturday night. Green reaches for that one.
It almost seemed like it was destined to be that.
Game 7?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Ducks fan, you don't want that. But at least you're at home. The crowd, the noise. That's when the stars got to come out on that night for the Ducks. Corey Perry, Getzlaff, Kessler.
Another game 7 in the other conference final, too. Rangers hosting the Lightning.
That's amazing. Conference finals both going 7. Hockey playoffs are absolutely amazing. Not for the weak of heart, of course.
No. Green takes a breaking ball for a strike. Inning comes to an end, but not before the Angels do tie it up on that infield base hit by Perez. Well, into the third. It's a 1-1 game. Hey folks, the Halos will host the Tigers beginning tomorrow night. It's the first of 4, and tomorrow night, with game time at 7:05, fans in attendance will receive an Oakley scratcher and a chance to win great prize packs as well as discounts at the Oakley store. Purchase your tickets today by visiting the stadium box office or online. Will it be lit tonight?
Sure hoping. Back over 500.
Got a 50-50 shot at it.
Astros lose. Rangers lose.
Seattle ended up winning.
King Felix.
Yeah.
Shutout. Dominant.
Austin Hedges leading things off. The pride of J. Sarah High School. Swinging a miss on a breaking ball. He's 2 for 15 in the big leagues this year. Second round pick in 2011. And committed to UCLA before signing with the Padres. And he goes down on 3 pitches, and there's the first down here in the third. Second strikeout for Garrett.
A conversation about him right out of high school. He was ready defensively for the big leagues, but it's a matter of being more consistent swinging the bat. Not an easy task facing Garrett Richards tonight. A lot of family and friend here at the ballpark.
There's Solarte, who's singled on the first pitch of the ball game. Swings the first pitch here. Albert feeds Garrett. Garrett drops the baseball, and Solarte will reach. That's an error on Richards.
You can see what Albert was trying to do. He was trying to feed him and lead him enough with an easier throw to get there to find the base. Perfect feed. In the last second, Garrett took his eye off the baseball as he's trying to find the bag. That's the absolutely perfect feed from Albert. You see the look, trying to find the base without looking the ball into the glove. Albert is so aware of that too. With his throws have been perfect. A lot of times he'll take it himself.
For the Angels, it's their 27th team error. It's the 9th by an Angels pitcher. That leads Major League Baseball. Man at first with 1 out, and Will Venable at the plate. He grounded out his first time up. Padres will run, although they've really not run a whole lot in this series. They had Perez back behind the plate 2 nights ago. Already seen a pickoff of Solarte in the first inning.
He's throwing out 50% of would-be base stealers this year.
Solarte has 1 back. That one misses outside for ball 2.
And one thing you gotta, if you're Gary, just don't allow that play that you didn't make at first base carry over to this very good hitter in Will Venable.
Well, especially as you roll into the middle part of the order here. Upton on deck. Breaking ball gets it back into the count of 2-1. Difficult as a young player to not allow that to creep into the mindset, and because you're chapped, there's no doubt about it. It's tough to get over it. You got to think about it one this way. All right, it's done. It's happened. 1 pitch, and I get 2 outs, and I'm back in the dugout.
Exactly. That's the mindset you have to have. I mean, he did everything well. He got over the angle he took to the base was perfect. Just didn't look the ball into his glove.
2-1. Chopper left side, might be tough to turn 2. Freeze goes to first, and there's out number 2. Solarte ends up at second base.
I think that's the wise decision. Nice play there by Freeze.
Upton, a strikeout victim of the first, one of 2 punch outs for Garrett. Oh, and 1. So he's gone to that breaking ball for a first pitch.
Adjustment made by Richards and Carlos Perez, sensing they're going to be attacking first pitch fastball.
Check swing. Did not go. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Very dangerous hitter now in a good hitter's count. What a perfect pitch. An absolutely perfect pitch from Richards. Fastball, 96 at the knees, outside corner. Can't locate a fastball any better than that. The target was set and the target hit. Good target set by Carlos Perez. Keeps that low target.
2-2 now. Oh, almost got the inside corner.
And you wonder if he'll go 3-2 slider here.
That's what he got him with the last time, with slider.
Especially fastball away, fastball in. The second full count.
Swing and a miss. There goes the slider. And the Padres are done here in the third. We'll head to the bottom of the third inning. Ibar, Trout, and Pujols coming up in a 1-1 game. For a chance to win a trip to the MLB All-Star Game on Fox for you and 3 of your friends. Upload 2 photos, two, at foxsports.com/fantasticallstar now through June 3rd.
What a beautiful sunset while you're reading that read.
That could be one of the photos, I would imagine.
No question.
But you're only allowed 2.
2.
Ibar, Trout, and Pujols here in the third. Cashner with a couple of strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 hits allowed. Eric has one of those hits, a single to left. He also picked up a stolen base. Oh, 2. Chopper. Middlebrooks has it. First down. Trying to fly ball to center field in the first inning. Cashner just got in on the hands enough.
Boy, with Trout and his power and Cashner's fastball, it can go a long way if he squares one up. Boy, starting the first pitch slider.
Venable really shading Trout toward the alley in right center field. That is out toward right. Kemp is there, 2 outs.
Well, Trouty's hit some balls right on the nose. That's a couple of nights. Nothing to show for it. Just like David Freese, I talked to him before the game about that. I said, you know, when you walk back in that dugout after a line shot, everyone would say, way to swing it. He goes, that's okay in spring training. But during the season, you'll even take a flare into the outfield. You want hits, results.
So you're saying he needs to dial it down on occasion?
Yeah, just every once in a while.
Don't swing as hard.
Or just even bunt. They're playing almost in the outfield grass against you. You can get a double on a bunt.
When was the last time he had a bunt single?
Can you imagine what his batting average would be if he just decided to do that on occasion? Plus, it would bring the corner infielders in just because of that speed.
I don't know about that. I'm not going in on Trout. No chance. Playing in?
Just give it to him?
Yeah.
But that's a double, though, with his speed. Because he's going to be on first and he'll steal.
One ball, 2 strikes. Albert a strikeout victim in the first. One ball, 2 strikes. That is line to center. Boy, it was a fastball that was up at 98. That ball was squared up.
Yeah, it definitely was. Fastball that was just above the belt. Line drive right back up the middle. I was ducking out of the way of that line drive, seeing that ball hit that hard up the middle.
Cole Calhoun saw 1 pitch in the first inning and grounded out to Solarte, so he's 0 for 1. Base hit by Albert, the 4th for the Angels. No balls, 2 strikes.
Five times in the game for Cashner to be ahead of the count. 0-2. His fastball command has been excellent. 50 pitches thrown, 34 of them strikes.
1-2 now. Both runs occurring in the second. RBI double by Middlebrooks with 2 outs. And the Padres a 1-0 lead. Then an infield base hit with a man at third base. Carlos Perez getting that RBI. Also pulled foul.
I'm afraid of thinking about turning 2 on that ground ball.
Thought about it. He's very pensive about those ground balls that come his way.
Oh, yeah.
He's especially fond of the ones that roll and just die at his feet.
Yeah. Perfect play.
Yeah.
Keep that fielding percentage up.
Smart guy. We've seen how many first and third base coaches attempt to, the hard choppers with the bare hands, man.
No, not a good decision.
No.
changeup from Casher. Starting to throw a few more of those as the game has progressed.
Pujols takes off, and a swing and a miss. Howard had a running start, and Cole strikes out to end the third. We will head to the fourth in a 1-1 tie.
A fantastic job behind the plate. The Angels 8-3 in his 11 starts, 0 errors, 8 assists. That's thrown out 50% of would-be base stealers. Lapped down in AAA, 37%. Handles the pitching staff well. His target has been perfect, setting up with Garrett Richards behind the plate here today.
Kemp, Norris, and Spangenberg for the Padres here in the fourth against Garrett Richards. Breaking ball in their first strike. Kemp, a ground ball to Eric Ibar leading off the second. That was a terrific defensive play by Eric going far to his left. Oh, 2 count. Carlos Perez been a breath of fresh air behind the plate. I mean, as much as we talked quite a bit, Jeff Mathis was here as far as the defense for Jeff. Carlos kind of had that same mold.
You know, Mike Scioscia told us that in spring training. He just loves the target he sets. And look at that target once again. He wants that fastball in, but off the plate in. And Garrett goes with the pitch and gets a swing and miss on a fastball inside off the plate. Perfect target.
Hey, folks, join us for singles night tomorrow before the Angels take on the Tigers. It's finally here, people. 7:05 starting for only $31. You can receive a game ticket, admission to a pregame mixer, drink specials, and a chance to meet your match. Why wouldn't you want to go? For more info to purchase your tickets, hit up angels.com/singles. Ready to roll.
Well, Norris has got to turn it in that fastball. I'm not so sure I would want to turn in on a fastball from Richards to kind of wear that one. That's going to leave a mark for a long time.
Breaking ball inside. Norris with a double and a run scored in the second. Broken bat toward the hole. Ibar to the backhand, off balance throw, and you're not going to get Norris there. Infield base hit.
Well, you can see how it incensed how he tracks the ball well against Richards. Now 4 for 5 in his career. Double and a single tonight. Himself in a good fastball count. Get that ball to the hole. Good range for Ibar, but not going to be able to throw at Norris, who runs very well.
So man on for Spangenberg, who saw one pitch in the second and grounded out sharply to Grant Green.
Wow, what a scoop, and almost threw down to first base. That's a fastball at 96. He scooped rather easily. Overthrown fastball from Richards. Scoop, and then quickly thought about throwing the first. I'm sure he got a good handle on the baseball that kept him from throwing.
Two balls and no strikes.
Back-to-back hitters for Richards, falling behind 2-0.
Out in front on the off-speed pitch.
Just like we talked about with Richards when the game started, when we talked about his slider percentage of pitches thrown, his ability to get back in the counts by able to throw his slider for a strike. So important for him now. Last couple of seasons, very solid in that aspect. When Socha sensing a potential hit and run, good count to do so.
Missed outside with that breaking ball. It's 3-1 now. Middlebrooks on deck. 48 pitches thrown by Garrett. Picked up 4 strikeouts, no walks, and now 4 hits allowed. This one back toward the middle. Ibar is there. Flips it to Grant Green. They get the force out, and it's a second out of the inning. Heck of a play by Eric Ibar once again.
Well, his defense has been outstanding in this game. The range, both up the middle to the backhand. Bud Black wants to make sure that Grant Green made contact with the base, and I think he's satisfied with the fact is, well, they may be checking this. See if Grant Green touched the base. Sure looked like he's on the base on that one.
Oh yeah, they're not checking it.
Yeah, I thought they were going to bring him in. Now, good play by Green to be able to make contact with the base.
Middlebrooks doubled home a run in the second inning. Got a first pitch fastball and turned it down the left field line. And he drives this one out to left. Joyce headed back to the wall, and that is gone. A 2-run home run as he gets a breaking ball this time, and the Padres lead it 3-1.
It doesn't happen often, a home run against Richards. Well, he got a slider. Got that over the left center field wall. It's the 3rd home run that Richards has allowed this season. His slider backed up on the inner half of the plate. Able to get the barrel of the bat, kept his hands inside that baseball, and drives it out to left center field.
So 3 RBIs tonight for Middlebrooks. Both hits with 2 outs. And Alexiano reached up and grounded out to short of the second inning. 6th home run for Middlebrooks, now with 17 RBIs.
2 hits for Norris, 2 hits for Middlebrooks today.
Another batter which has fallen behind too. Now another overthrown fastball there. And a 4-pitch walk. First one issued by Garrett. Eric Bennett, who's the AAA pitching coach at Salt Lake, taking over for Mike Butcher tonight. Butch attending his daughter's graduation, so Eric is here. Very familiar with the Angels' arms. Been an assistant for several years.
Knows Garrett very well. Trying to get him back under control.
Enter number 18, Austin Pitcher.
54 pitches, 33 strikes for Richards.
Trying to just finish off this 4th inning. 3-1 Pods. Middlebrooks with a 2-run home run to put San Diego back in the lead. Austin Hedges steps in now. He struck out in the 3rd inning. Take down and in. That's 5 out of the zone for Richards.
Trying to get that feel back for the strike zone. He's pulled off on that fastball. 6 times in this game for Richards so far, 2-0 counts. Unusual for him.
Amarista takes off. The 2-1 pitches upstairs. The throw down to second. Green can't handle the short hop. It goes into center, and Amarista advances over to third. But if Green comes up with it, Amarista's out.
Quick catch and throw. That's why you try to keep the baseball in that glove, keep that glove low and be able to catch it. It's almost right on the base.
Yeah, tough to catch it too when you're on your heels like that. So Amarista over at third base. Perez gets charged with an error, his first. 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball in there. Full count. Three-two. Breaking ball in the air to left. Not very deep. Joyce comes in. Now goes back and makes the catch. The top of the 4th is in the books. The Padres, however, retake the lead as we head to the bottom of the inning. 3-1 San Diego.
Tonight with the premiere of In My Own Words with Houston. Street tonight following the Angels Live postgame show right here on Fox Sports West. Street shares his journey through baseball when he decided that he wanted to make this his life and how growing up the son of a football legend shaped the athlete he is here tonight and today. So don't miss that tonight following Angels Live postgame show. Victor and Gooby.
Alex, we appreciate it, and happy birthday to you, Alex.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, guys.
David Freese, Matt Joyce, and Chris Iannetta here in the fourth inning. The Angels down 3-1. Freese doubled and scored in the second inning. Double for David, his ninth.
Changeup. That last inning, Castro starting to throw more and more changeups. Very effective pitch for him because you're trying to gear up to 97, 98. He dropped the changeup at 87 with good sink action.
Fourth strikeout for Castro. He's issued one walk and he's allowed 4 hits. Matt Joyce drew a walk on 4 pitches in the second. No official ABs for him tonight as of yet. Castro stayed away from Joyce, which is goes against the shift.
Exactly right. I mean, when you're throwing, especially when you throw as hard as he throws, you're throwing a firm fastball away. The only person you have on that side of the infield, that left side, is Middlebrooks.
Locked him up at 96, and it's 1-2. Net on deck. That's a called strike 3. 2-seamer, 2 down. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Castro.
It's that little 2-seam fastball to start in at the hip and then bring it back in the inside corner frame well by Hedges behind the plate. 2 very good defensive catchers in this game.
That is 0 for 1. Grounded into a double play in the second. Came in batting 161 with a couple of home runs, 9 RBIs. 0-2. This one lined to right field. Kent comes in and he picks it on a 1-hopper. It's a base hit for Iannetta on an 0-2 count. Two-out single. Keeps hitting alive for Perez. Kept fortunate that that ball went into his glove.
Yeah, it gets by him. It's a double at least for Iannetta. 1 point, a very, very good defensive center fielder.
Carlos with an infield base hit and an RBI in the second. 7th run batted in. Pulls this one down the line. That's a fair ball. Headed to the corner. Iannetta round second, headed to third. Should be waved in. DiSarcina's got the windmill going. Chris will come in to score, and it's 3-2 Padres.
Well, they're playing him to go hit the ball the other way. What a game so far for Carlos Perez. Has driven in both runs. One with an infield hit, and that a double right down the third base line. Turned on it, got it down the line, and Upton was playing so far off the line in left field. Chris Iannetta scores easily from first base.
So 8 RBIs now for Perez. Picks up his second big league double. 8 RBIs in 12 games for Carlos. And here's Grant Green.
.393 hitter at home for Carlos Perez. 11 for 28.
People talk about baseball and the oddities that can occur on a nightly basis. You've got a guy in Cashner that strikes out Free, strikes out Joyce, both rather easily. Gets ahead of Iannette at 0-2, and all of a sudden, base hit and a double down left field line. You're cruising. You're thinking this is going to be a 1-2-3 inning.
Now all of a sudden 2-0 count.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you have some stress. You don't get Grant Green out. You have the top of the order. Well, it's a lot of fun being a manager at the major league level. Just when you feel comfortable, at least briefly feel comfortable, your opponent is putting stress on you.
Weak ground ball to second. Spangenberg over to Solarte, and just like that, the fourth is in the books, but the Angels do get one of those runs back. We'll head to the fifth with San Diego leading at 3-2.
Miles per gallon. Visit Jeep.com for more information. By AT&T Uverse, more live channels on the go than cable. And by Subaru. Test drive the all-new 2015 Subaru Forester or go to Subaru.com to learn more.
Tonight's aerial coverage is being provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Top of the fifth inning, top of the order for the San Diego Padres. They lead at 3-2. It'll be Solarte, Venable, and Upton to face Garrett. Neither starter, as much as we talked them up in the open of this show, has had a clean 1-2-3 inning. Garrett did face the minimum 3 in the first. Now is courtesy of Carlos Perez picking off Solarte after he singled. But that's as close as he's come so far. Solarte, big swing and a miss. Going Adrian Beltre from the left side, going down to a knee.
Very aggressive hitter.
1 for 2 tonight with that single in the first and reach on the error by Richards in the third. And down goes Solarte. 1 down. Strikeout number 5 for Garrett.
Well, that slider almost worked like a split finger fastball. That ran away.
Yeah.
It's a slider by the spin, but goes down and away. It all depends on where his wrist is at when he delivers the baseball for Richards. Sometimes it'll go down and in against the lefty, sometimes go down and away, sometimes straight down as if it's a curveball.
Venable tonight with a couple of ground outs, 1 to short, 1 to third. Garrett threw 22 pitches in the fourth inning. This is back up the middle, gloved by Garrett. Look what I found. 2 outs, it'll work. You throw the glove out there on occasion.
Great technique.
Is that what you're going with?
Yes. And a smile for the birthday boy.
Say that with a straight face.
Well
it worked,
played.
though. That's all
well
that matters.
Played. Hey, that's why you have a glove out there. No problem. Look, looked it into the glove and the flip over the first. Excellent play.
Just like he learned in spring training.
Yeah, all those ground
PFPs.
balls. Yeah, yes, definitely.
Upton swings through the first fastball at 95. Upton 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. This one pulled into left field, a base hit.
And look how well he got his hands inside and be able to get the bat head out. That's a good swing by Upton. Showed that the other day in our feature showing how you can get him upstairs with a fastball, but when it's down, he is quick. Gets his hands inside the baseball and drives that ball in the hole between short and third. That's a good pitch normally, but he's a very good low ball hitter. You're going to be aware of his speed. Might be going on first pitch.
9 stolen bases on the season, has not been caught stealing. Padres 4th overall in the National League stolen bases with 32. Ticked at 33 since Amarista picked one up last inning. Matt Kemp takes inside.
That's a pretty good pitch. Got out of the strike zone. Tried to frame that and unable to do so, Carlos Perez, and very difficult to get that call.
Kemp with the ground down and a strikeout. Evens up the count in that breaking ball. Difficult too with Perez or any catcher catching Garrett Richards with all the movement that he has, especially you're talking about a fastball into a right-hander. That ball is sinking in or moving laterally into a right-handed batter. As a catcher, you get to that position where you want to turn that glove counterclockwise. Otherwise, if you go clockwise too far, that thumb is exposed.
Yeah, I was going to say that hand is not going to feel real good. And you would think because Garrett has such a good fastball and he's pretty quick to the plate, he'd be easy for a catcher to throw at would-be base stealers, but you're right, it's that movement. That's difficult to catch sometimes. Sometimes he's trying to throw a two-seam fastball and it'll actually cut.
Yeah, it's one thing to anticipate, but you're not, with Garrett, you're not sure which way it's going to go. One ball, 2 strikes. 3-2 San Diego here in the 5th. And Kemp, a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Another strikeout for Richards. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Eric Ibar, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols coming up. Angels down by a run. ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Aybar to lead things off. He'll be followed by Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. Cashner delivers a breaking ball for strike, and Eric thought that pitch was down low. Nothing like the call.
I think everyone in the dugout thought it was down low also.
Eric 1 for 2 with a single to left. Chop it back to the mound. 1 away.
Well, that would have been a real interesting play if I got over Cashner's head.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Angels. Trout 0 for 2, a couple of fly ball outs. 1 to center, 1 to right. Mike 1 for 10 in the series. Gets jammed. And there's a lazy fly ball to right field. That'll get down for a base hit. So you take a little, you throttle down.
Yes,
right? And look what happens.
You go the nature boy, Ric Flair route. Looks like a line drive.
Absolutely. By the way, we did some research for you on the bunts and bunt singles for Mike Trout.
By the way, that ball was right on the handle of the bat. That's how strong Trouty is to get that ball that far into the outfield to flare it in for a hit.
Last time Trout bunted, September 7th of 2012 against Detroit. That was in the 5th inning. Last bunt single, June 4th of that year.
So you're saying they would be surprised?
Yeah. Pujols down the line. That is just foul. Broke his bat. Dan Snyder getting us that information from the truck.
It's good information.
Yeah. Albert 1 for 2. Shot a rocket back up the middle in the 3rd inning. Eventually stranded first.
He was leaning a little bit.
8 stolen bases on the year for Trout. He's been caught twice.
This is what you want if you're Albert Pujols. Cashner to be distracted by Mike Trout's speed. Maybe you can make a mistake here to Pujols. They're pitching him inside in this sequence. Got his bat, first swing. That went up and in on Pujols.
Ground ball to 3rd. Middlebrooks to Spangenberg. Relay back to 1st, and that is a double play. And the Angels are done here in the 5th. One to the 6th inning with San Diego up by a run.
time for the Carl's Jr. Sports Update. The great outdoors, the Minnesota Twins behind Phil Hughes, now tied for first place in the AL Central, and Thor goes yard for the Mets.
That was a bomb, too.
Noah Syndergaard just crushes his baseball to center field. Way out. He was 3 for 3 in the game. And also threw 7 shutout innings. That ball's covered. That's a pretty good game. 7 1/3, no runs, 3 for 3 with a big fly. Thor has arrived.
By the hammer of Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Norris 2 for 2. Double and a single. Drives this one out to center. Crowd back a couple of steps. One away.
Second baseman, number 15,
San Diego with 6 hits. The Angels with 7. They just haven't been able to put anything together against Andrew Kashner. Really one mistake for Garrett Richards, that hanging breaking ball to Will Middlebrooks.
How about the Minnesota Twins winning today, tied with the Royals in that AL Central?
Ground ball towards second and backhanded by Green. Got him. 2 down. Nice play by Grant.
Good range showed by Green.
The Twins start off like 1-6 or something like that.
Yeah, they really were struggling. Paul Molitor's done a very good job. Speaking of doing a good job, on the backhand, Grant Green, good throw over to Pujols to get the second out.
Yeah, 1-6 for the Twins to start the year.
The old great outdoors reference for you, little John Hughes movie with Phil Hughes getting the win today.
I like it.
Torrey Hunter got a big base hit with the bases loaded. Porcello struggled again for Boston.
One of these days when we're in Toronto, maybe go with the Great White North.
Oh, yeah. That's next year.
The McKenzie
sure, for
brothers.
4 days, I'm sure we'll be there for 4.
Oh, there's no doubt. With the old wraparound. Middlebrooks 2 for 2. An RBI double and a 2-run home run. And he lifts this one out to right. Playable for Cole. There's Garrett's first 1-2-3 inning. We will head to the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-2 San Diego. When we come back, it's a special encore Wednesday night edition of Gooby Tuesdays. Yeah, you figure it out. Bob Black, Mike Scioscia. What do they really like?
Black. Beer or wine?
Oh, wine, for sure.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
Boxers or briefs?
Oh, I get them as big as I can. Boxers. Boxers.
All right, this is the most important question. Who's the better athlete, the catcher or the pitcher?
The pitcher.
By far?
By far.
You know that.
The catchers are the only thing that keeps a pitcher out there organized. The pitcher's like that horse that'll run wild. You need that jockey, and that's that catcher.
That's so appreciate.
All right.
Bottom of the 6th inning. And two good buddies, Bud Black and Mike Scioscia.
I brought them over together today just to have that discussion about that whole beer and wine thing. And Scioscia wasn't real happy that Blackie went with the beer over the wine. And they both, after a while, were in agreement that the pitchers were the better athletes. Look at Thor, Syndergaard going yard. I mean, look at that.
Scioscia, of course, joked after that comment about the horse.
Yeah.
At least a Clydesdale.
Yeah. Just right here, you can tell pitcher better athlete. Look at that! Look at that tremendous play, that athletic play by Garrett Richards.
It's almost as if I'm watching a ballet. It was that impressive.
No question. Look how quickly he threw his hand out, like he was a goalie.
Oh, unbelievable. Barishnikov. .3-0 pitch in there for a strike, 3-1. Calhoun, Freese, and Joyce here in the 6th inning for the Angels. Cole 0 for 2. Strikeout and a ground out.
Good pitch to drive here for Cole.
Fouls it off.
He had one. He had a good swing at it.
Cashner with 5 strikeouts and a walk. Swing and a miss. Got him with a high fastball.
And a key for this game. Talked about the need for a very solid outing by Garrett Richards. No one bites the dust, but that fastball he has. But Cashner is doing the same thing. We talked about how well both these pitchers can throw the fastball. They've been battling very well, just looking for that one mistake.
Freese looks at a fastball on the outside corner. David 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout.
Struck out Freese last time with a changeup. Tried to change up there. Freese first at bat hit a double to left center field. Got a fastball that at bat.
Ground ball to third. One third baseman throws out another, 2 outs. So Joyce will step to the plate now. He's 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Padres with 3 runs on 6 hits have stranded 4. Halos with 2 runs, 7 hits. They've committed 2 errors and have also stranded 4 as that one's off the end of the bat and into the seats for strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. Tigers in town for the first of 4 tomorrow night. Then the Tampa Bay Rays roll in on Monday for the first of 3. That's hit well to right field. Matt Kemp back. That one is gone. A big fly for Matt Joyce. Ties this game up at 3.
Well, you're looking for that one mistake. It's on the inner half of the plate. It was at 96, but it was elevated. That's the pitch we saw throughout his career as a Tampa Bay Ray, driving that ball out to right field. And he crushes this one. A little two-seamer trying to run it back, but he got his hands inside, tucked the hands in, and got the barrel of the bat out and drives it out for his 2nd home run. Good swing from Matt Joyce. Well out to right field.
Iannetta fouls this one back. .13th RBI. Chris 1 for 2, a double play ball in the second, and a single to right in the fourth. There's that off-speed pitch.
That's the one thing that's dangerous when you're a right-handed pitcher. You run that little two-seam fastball in against a left-handed batter. If you catch any of the plate with that pitch, it becomes extremely hittable.
This one's fouled back above us. This one down the line is playable for Kemp. And the Angels are done here the 6th inning, but one swing of the bat by Matt Joyce ties this one up for the Halos, his 2nd home run of the season, and it knocks this game up at 3. By Mercury Insurance, on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today to get a fast free quote and see how much you could save. And by Hyundai, the Memorial Day sales event is going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. Tonight's aerial coverage is being provided by Goodyear with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. 3-3 tie here, the top of the 7th inning. Amarista, Hedges, and Solarte 8-9-1 coming up for the Padres to face Garrett Richards, who retired the side in order for the first time in the 6th. Garrett so far 77 pitches, 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 punch outs.
Birthday boy throwing the ball well against a very good team in the San Diego Padres.
Amarista showing bunt, takes outside. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to short in the 2nd inning. Walked, stole a base, and was stranded in the 4th.
Or 3 pitches in a row, almost the exact same location. When you walk around the back of the mound there, gather your thoughts. Almost take your chance of throwing another pitch the exact same spot. Force him to hit the ball on the ground.
And he walks him. So lead off walk to start the 7th. 2 walks for Garrett, both to Amarista. As the Angels will host the Tigers on Friday at 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive a Matt Shoemaker bobblehead courtesy of Thermador while supplies last. Get your tickets by visiting the box office or online.
Great game yesterday by Shoemaker.
Matt's scheduled to pitch Sunday night against David Price. Tomorrow night it'll be Buck Farmer at C.J. Wilson. Anibal Sanchez and Hector Santiago on Friday. Then Shane Green, Jared Weaver on Saturday night. Hedges, a big rip at the fastball, comes up empty.
I was wondering if he was going to be asked to square around the bunt.
Late in the game, in her 7th tied. Yeah. Good numbers at AAA. Big league debut on the 4th.
He's playing pretty deep at 3rd.
Now shows bunt. It's a bunt on the 3rd base side. Garrett picks it up, bobbles it. Second error of the night for Garrett Richards.
Got off the mound very quickly. But unable to get the handle of the baseball and the transfer for the glove. And he's looked up like he did when he was covering first base, was looking at the base, this time looking over where to throw the ball before it's in the glove.
To me, though, as you pointed out before the pitch was thrown, to me that's the third baseman's ball. You're in a bunt situation. Freeze should be in on the grass. Now, granted, that's probably coming from the bench. Who knows? But you've got to be expecting bunt in a 3-3 game in the 7th with the 9th place hitter up.
9th place for sure, especially when you're, and that's National League Baseball.
No doubt. And just take the pitcher out of the equation. No offense, Mark.
None taken.
So 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Here's Solarte. Another bunt situation. He bunts it foul, kind of stabs at it. Solarte 1 for 3. So 3 errors tonight for the Angels, 2 by Garrett. The other by Perez. Hopefully this one doesn't come back to haunt. The other 2 did not. Hedges gets credit with a sack bunt as well. So no official at bat charge to him. One ball, one strike. That is out to right. Cole comes in. He'll make the catch as he leaps up for it. Amarista late getting back to the bag.
He didn't read that real well. That's one of those plays, too. You feel if that ball hits the outfield grass, you're gonna, at the very least, you're going to be able to get that one base. But being caught by Cole has to jump up at the last minute because that baseball was hit on a line. Sometimes it gets caught in that bank of lights when it's hit on a line like that when you're in right field. But still, Maurice, you're surprising to get right back to the base and try to tag and take advantage, especially when you see him have to jump up for a baseball. It's going to be more difficult to get into throwing position. Maybe a break.
Runners remain at 1st and 2nd, 1 down. Here's Venable. 3 ground ball outs tonight. 0-1. Good breaking ball out in front.
That was a curveball. He doesn't throw many of them. That's pretty impressive, though. A good curveball like that, and when you haven't thrown a lot during the course of the game, to have that type of feel for that pitch.
Upton on deck.
Came back with another curveball. See right there, the finger right off the baseball as he's throwing it. Nasty break ball straight down, 77 miles an hour.
Pickoff attempt, and goes off the glove of Ibar, and Amarista does not advance. He's angry at himself for not picking up the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3-3 game here in the 7th. Breaking ball popped up. Infield fly is called. 2 outs. Went back to that slow breaking ball.
Yeah, that's a pretty good feel for that pitch. Like I said, that's not an easy pitch just to start throwing late in the game. You really have to concentrate on keeping that front shoulder in. He threw 3 really good ones. See that finger off the baseball, the snap starts up around the letters and then drops just around knee level out in front. It's all about the speed of that pitch. That's an important pitch for him, especially against left-handed batters. That's a dangerous pitch there, though. A backup slider, inner half of the plate against Upton.
1 for 3 tonight with a single in the 5th. This one down the line foul, just wide of the bag.
Both these sliders, inner half of the plate. You don't want to throw a slider in the inner half of the plate against Upton. We wonder if he'll take a shot at that fastball he threw to him in a second at bat. Fastball away at the knees. Should lock him up.
Glance back to Amarisa in the 0-2. Goes with a breaking ball, checked swing, and he did not go, says Angel Hernandez. Awfully close.
Threw him a curveball. Well, it sure looked from this angle that maybe he did, but let's see. Pretty strong to be able to hold up. He did. Did not cross the plate. Good call by Angel Hernandez.
94 pitches now for Garrett. 1-2 in the dirt. Amarisa thought about going. The throw goes down there, but Amarisa turned and went back to second.
Pretty good read by Freese to keep this baseball in front of the throw from Perez. Not a lot of backup for him if that ball gets by him. Barely see Eric Ibar getting in the picture at that point. That's going to go all the way down the right left field line.
A leadoff walk to Amarista. And then on a sacrifice bunt, the error by Richards, putting 2 men on. Garrett has picked up 2 outs since trying to finish this one off. 2-2. Breaking ball toward the hole, and Ibar tries to knock it down. He can't. Amarista will score. Heading to third is Hedges. And it's a single for Upton, and San Diego retakes the lead. It's 4-3.
One of those places in infield, all you're trying to do is to knock this down. Just gets by Freese and just off the glove of Eric Ibar. You're not even going to try to make a play. You're just trying to keep it in the infield to prevent the run.
Second hit of the night for Upton. 36th run batted in. Cam Bedrosian now getting ready. There's Matt Camp 0 for 3. A ground out and a couple of strikeouts. Angels also have left-hander Jose Alvarez getting ready. 4-3 Padres here in the 7th. 2 outs.
Pitch number 98, still at 95 miles an hour for Richards.
One pitch. Breaking ball, line to right field. That will get down for another hit and another run. Upton will head to third. And it is 5-3 San Diego. Back-to-back two-out hits. There comes Mike Scioscia. That's going to be it for Garrett.
This is an elevated fastball. If Matt Kemp was able to get his hands up through the zone, hit that ball hard to right field for another hit and RBI.
The leadoff walk here in the 7th and the botched bunt. Both runs coming in to score. We've got ourselves a pitching change, the first of the evening. Padres lead at 5-3. And the lead, so San Diego leads at 5-3. As Mike Scioscia goes to the bullpen and brings in right-hander Cam Pedroia, trying to get that third and final out here in the 7th. Cam last pitched on Sunday at Boston through 18 total pitches in relief. He'll be facing Derek Norris.
He's got that good power fastball. He can rush it up there to mid-90s himself. Slider, curve, changeup. The first time out in Boston, that was a difficult task for him. He literally just got into town that day. Pitch out of the bullpen, struggle with command of the strike zone.
Matt Kemp standing at first base, Justin Upton at third. With 2 down, Norris 2 for 3 with a double and a single. He's also hit a fly ball to center. He's the DH tonight. He'll look at a breaking ball for a strike. Fastball, strike, and it's 0-2. Cam, his 4th appearance in the big leagues this year. 3 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Breaking ball, got him swinging. And that will end the top of the 7th inning, but not before the Padres retake the lead as we head to the bottom of the 7th. San Diego leads at 5-3. Perez, Green, and Ibar to face Andrew Cashner. Carlos tonight 2 for 2 with a single, a double, and 2 runs batted in. Two balls, no strikes. Three and 0.
This is what you want now if you're the Angels, is a lead-off walk. Put some stretch on Cashner right away. Now, if you're Carlos, you're just looking for a zone right now. Don't help him out. Don't swing anything out of the strike zone. Square something up.
3-1 pitch. And popped it up. Just got it underneath that fastball. And Amarista makes the grab. 1 down.
Now let's take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind. Even though he popped up, not at bat, Carlos said a very good game. Infield hit, driving in the first run of the game for the Halos. Beat that one out. And then double down the left field line, scoring Chris Iannetta. But also has done a nice job defensively with a pickoff of Solarte at first base run of the game. Good tag from Pujols, but a perfect throw from Carlos Perez, who's had a solid game here tonight.
Grant Green takes upstairs. And to start tonight at second base, he's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground down. Two down. Top of the order now, Eric Ibar. Padres who have action in their bullpen. Cashner right now at 100 pitches. Brandon Maurer getting ready. He's pitched in the first 2 games of the series.
66 strikes at the 100 pitches for Cashner.
6 strikeouts and 1 walk. Ibar 1 for 3. This one down toward left center field. Venable got a terrific jump, dives, and what a play by Will Venable, robbing Ibar of a hit.
Boy, what a defensive show in this series for Will Venable. Going over to the wall to rob a home run by Trout, and showing athletic skill and a diving catch against Eric Ibar.
Of the 8th inning. I'm Patrick O'Neill. Stick around after this game for Angels Live. Jose Mota, Alex Curry. You may have heard Alex mention earlier during the broadcast about the Houston Street In My Own Words, which will debut later tonight, immediately after our Angels Live postgame show. Houston has this great conversation with Jose Mota. You know, he comes from this amazing family. His father, James Street, absolute legend at the University of Texas, playing in perhaps one of the biggest football games of all time, which will later be made into a movie coming out later this year. So good stuff later tonight. Victor and Mark, back to you.
Looking forward to it. As Cam Bedrosian's back out on the mound to start this 8th inning, 5-3 Padres. Spangenberg, Middlebrooks, and Amarista, 6, 7, and 8 for San Diego. No balls, 2 strikes. Spangenberg tonight 0 for 3. Did reach on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the 4th, and that was on the Middlebrooks home run. Garrett Richards' final line, by the way, 6 2/3, 8 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 runs, but 3 earned. 2 in the 7th unearned runs because of the error.
Throw back to Cam off his glove and into center field.
Oh, 2 outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Breaking ball, grounded to third. Freeze, off balance throw. 1 down.
Good play by Freeze.
Take a look at that Honda upcoming schedule. Tigers already in town. They played the Oakland Athletics earlier today, so we'll maybe scouting this game right now. Hello to Mario and Pemba and Rod Allen, their television voices.
Good guys.
Yeah.
They won today up there in Oakland, won 2 in a row.
4-game series against Detroit, then 3 against the Rays before the Angels head back east.
Wow, good curveball from Bedrosian, 79-mile-an-hour pitch.
Middlebrooks 2 for 3, a double and a home run. 3 runs batted in.
He's guessing fastball. Good curveball instead from Bedrosian.
Fastball for a strike. Middlebrooks coming up with Boston. Get traded to San Diego in exchange for catcher Ryan Hannigan. Pretty good pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a great spot.
Down goes Middlebrooks for the second out. Second strikeout for Bedrosian.
Shortstop, number 5, Alexei.
And challenging with a fastball. This is 93, gets it by him. Pitch just missed the outside corner at 95, the pitch before.
Amarista on board twice tonight via the walk. Led off the 7th against Richards. The base on balls and scored one of the 2 runs. Evens up the count. The Angels at the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll have Trout, Pujols, and Calhoun coming up. See if Cashner is done. Looks like he is with that sweatshirt on. Mauer's ready to go. 1-2 now.
Another good fastball from Cam. Under control here tonight.
Amarista strikes out, swinging a 1-2-3 inning for Bedrosian. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. 5-3 Pods. Is done after 7 frames, 3 runs, 3 earned, 8 hits, including the home run of Joyce, 6 strikeouts and 1 walk through 103 pitches. Looking for his second win of the season. Came into this one with a 1-7 record and a 2.89 ERA. It's our in and out, who's in, who's out. Brandon Maurer is pitching for the 3rd consecutive game, and he'll face Trout, Pujols, and Calhoun.
You know, we talked about his fastball, very impressive, 92 to 97. Also has a cut fastball, slider, changeup.
Two balls and no strikes. One 1-0 record for Maurer. 1.96 earned run average, a .78 whip.
He has been fantastic in this role out of the bullpen from Bud Black.
That one caught the corner. It's 2-1. That is hooked down the line. That'll get down for extra bases. Trout on his way to second, and he is in there safely with a leadoff double. That's his 10th of the season.
Got a cut fastball that was elevated enough to be able to hook it down the left field line. Is a pretty good indication how quick his bat is. Cut fastball, barrel the bat, and hooks it down the line for Trout. How strong that compact swing is for Trouty. Now his 10th double of the season.
This is the 2nd time this season in which Maurer has pitched in 3 consecutive days. So see if that has any effects on him here tonight. Pujols at the plate, 1 for 3 tonight. Halos on the evening, 1 for 4 with men in scoring position. That is in there for a strike. Action in the Padres pen. Oh, 1. Albert lifts it foul and out of play. Now last night, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Exact same thing 2 nights ago.
A lot of room out in right center field for Pujols.
This one's out towards center. Playable for Venable. Trout goes back to second. He's going to tag. And going to test Venable, and Mike is safe.
Pretty aggressive base running. That speed that Trout has, taken a chance to get himself into scoring position at third base. Gets right back to base. That's what you want to do. You know that ball is going to be caught. Venable has done a nice job defensively out in the outfield. Good read on that one. Advances to third.
There's Cole Calhoun, infield back, Trout at third. One down, Cole 0 for 3. Oh, the off-speed pitch is start off Calhoun. Bauer with 12 straight scoreless outings for San Diego. That's the string that he's currently on. Here's the 1-0. It's downstairs.
Back-to-back all-speed pitches.
Cole did not face Mauer either the first 2 games. (2-0). That's out towards shallow right center field, off the end of the bat. Should be deep enough to score. Trout. Venable makes the catch. Here comes Trout. He will score, and it's a 1-run deficit now. 5-4 San Diego. Sac fly for Cole Calhoun.
That speed of Trout created that run himself. The double down the left field line, tags up on a short fly to left center field, and then scores on a short fly to right center field. That speed of Mike Trout. The all-around great talent that he has.
Cole picks up his 23rd run batted in. So bases cleared out for David Freese. Trout just scored his 35th run of the season. In there for a strike on Freese. Mike at the start of the day, third in the runs category. Josh Donaldson and Brian Dozier 1 and 2. Freese 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the second. Ground ball toward the middle. That will sneak through for a base hit. So Matt Joyce will step up now with a man on. Tying run at first base.
Wonder if a pinch runner will be coming out. Looks like there is.
Taylor Featherston is coming out. He will stay in the game and play third. So a multi-hit game for Freese. Let's see what Bud Black does here.
Conversation of what they're going to do against Matt Joyce, also to give some time there to get ready also. Last time up for Matt Joyce, got a fastball inside corner, and he got his hands through the baseball and crushed it out to right field. Second home run of the season. See if he has that magic in that bat once again.
Featherston over at first base, the pinch runner. 2 outs, 5-4 San Diego. Bad 1 for 2. To walk the home run and a strikeout. Borderline pitch. And it is 1-0. Back up the middle. Amarista makes the catch on the line drive, and the Angels are done here in the 8th. They do get a run on the sac fly by Calhoun. We're here to the 9th. Padres still on top. with superior performing tires that knock it out of the park. Goodyear, more driven. Top of the ninth inning, 5-4 San Diego. Hedges, Solarte, and Venable to face Cam Bedrosian's back out for another inning.
Let's take a look at our time we're in the driver's seat, brought to you by Kia. Andrew Kashner, very solid tonight. 7 innings, his 3 earned runs, 6 punch-outs. His last 6 starts, 0-5, but an ERA exactly at 3. Got some run support today, put himself in position to pick up the W, but the Angels trying to come back late here to take that away from him.
Hedges a swing and a miss on a high fastball. Taylor Featherston, who pinch ran for David Freese, stays in the game at third. Bedrosian has faced 4 batters. He's retired all 4 with 3 strikeouts and a ground out. Hedges 0 for 2, a strikeout, a fly ball to left, and the sac bunt in which he reached on the error by Garrett. Overthrown slider. 1-2. Two and 2 now.
Yeah, to stay under control, your curveball and slider have been very good, and you maintain your mechanics. Cam has thrown the ball very well so far.
A dribbler. That is a fair ball. Nice play by Perez. 1 down. Hey, there are just 10 days left before the FIFA Women's World Cup begins as Alex Morgan leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their 3rd World Cup title. The only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox at Fox Sports 1 beginning in 10 days.
That's amazing, not that far away now.
Bud Black coming out to talk things over with Chris Conroy. I wonder if he's trying to get an explanation if the bat made contact with the baseball.
It looked like there was a little contact with the baseball and the bat, but more so the conversation maybe that Perez ran into the runner.
Didn't even look like he touched him. I think Bud has accepted the explanation from Chris Conroy.
Well played by Carlos Perez again. He's had a solid game all around.
Solarte shows bunt. Ball hit him on the back foot. He did not go, says Ted Barrett. So that's a hit by pitch.
Definitely hit him on the breaking ball. And he brought the bat back. So she's going to go down to the bullpen now.
Yeah. So she's coming out. That's going to be for Bedrosian. Nice outing for him with 1 out here in the 9th inning. We're going to the pen. Cesar Ramos coming into the ballgame. 5-4 San Diego. bullpen. It's left-hander Cesar Ramos taking over on the mound. Ramos pitching in his 19th game, 2-0 record at 2.25 ERA. Pitched in Tuesday night's ball game through a total of 7 pitches.
This might be just a one batter face for Ramos, try to get the lefty out.
Venable 0 for 4. Terrific diving catch. Robbing Albert in the 8th inning. Pardon me, Ibar in the 7th inning. It ended the 7th.
He's made a lot of great defensive plays in this series.
Fouled off. And it's 0-2. Will's dad spent 3 seasons, parts of 3 seasons with the Angels. Solarte over at first base, hit by a pitch. That ball gets away, and that will allow Solarte to advance. A wild pitch.
Break the ball in the dirt. That spin. Had his body in position to be able to block, but the spin when it hits the dirt, different than what would be on a fastball. It gets away from Perez.
Going back outside. And the 1-2 downstairs. Benny Pistano is ready to go in the pen. Halo's in the midst of this stretch in which they're playing 20 straight games. Next off day will be a week from tomorrow. It's a travel day to New York. Down 5-4 here in the ninth. 2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. Perez will throw down to first, complete the strikeout, 2 outs.
Good breaking ball, stayed on top of this one. Starts out at the belt, ends up in the dirt for a swing and miss.
Well, with Upton coming to the plate, Mike Scioscia heading back out. Another pitching change here in the 9th inning. And it's Vinny Pistano coming in. So Ramos retires the guy he's supposed to, and see if Vinny can do the same. 5-4 San Diego. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. Manny Pastano pitching in the 17th game, 1-0 record and a .435 earned run average, 12 strikeouts, 7 walks, however. That's usually not a good sign for a reliever. He'll face Justin Upton. Here's 2 for 4 tonight.
He's got to keep his fastball down. He's been hurt lately with his fastball that's been up and out over the plate.
Fastball upstairs. Looked like caught the zone, but doesn't get the call, and it's 1-0. Upton snapped a 3-3 tie with his single in the 7th with 2 outs. 36th run batted in. And it's 2-0.
Yeah, another fastball upstairs.
Craig Kimbrell getting ready. The Angels have the bottom third of their order coming up now. They're going to intentionally walk Upton. Face Matt Kemp.
Right fielder, number 27, Matt Kemp.
Last couple of nights, Matt Kemp has had some pretty big hits for the Padres.
Picked up a single with the RBI in the 7th. He's 1 for 4 tonight. 26 runs batted in. Padres now with runners at first and second and 2 down.
Another pitch, upper part of the strike, so not getting the high strike called.
Lifted foul and out of play. Solarte standing at second, Upton at first. Here comes the 1-1. Slider in there. 1-2.
Now you look to throw that slider down, but down and away this time.
Slider pulled down the line, foul.
That's not the spot you want to throw that pitch to Matt Kemp.
Reset and do it again now. Glance back in the 1-2. Fastball just off the plate. Those have been the situations that have really hampered Vinny as far as inherited runners. 2-2. Slider away. Full count. Coming here tonight. He's allowed 9 inherited runners to score, and that's second worst in the American League behind Fernando Abad of the Oakland Athletics.
That's why I thought the pitch before that slider threw a fastball with a slider was the perfect setup pitch for him. Especially was inside the first one.
Sorry, Mark. Now with a 3-2 count, the runners will get a head start here. Three-two pitch. Fouled back.
Well, you got to keep this as a one-run deficit with Kimbrel coming in the game.
Derek Norris on deck. Trying to figure out what the conversation could be here. Then he throws 2 pitches. Maybe location the issue.
It's going to come down to location.
Yeah. And this is where you think that sometimes these meetings kind of tip off the guy at the plate.
Exactly. They're going to look for a spot now. They're looking for a certain pitch.
Got a fastball. It's fouled back.
He was on that fastball. See, as a hitter, sometimes when you see a pitcher and a catcher having a tough time getting together on the sign, that gives you more confidence as a hitter. And if you're confident as a hitter, you have a better chance of squaring up a baseball. You feel that confusion on the mound at that point.
Trying to keep it a 1-run deficit. Runners take off again. Swing and a miss. Down goes Kemp. And Pistano closes the door on the Padres here in the ninth. The Angels now to face Craig Kimbrel. It's the bottom third of the order coming up, down by a run. Inetta, Perez, and Green are the scheduled 3 batters to face Craig Kimbrel. 3rd consecutive game that he has pitched in. Through 20 pitches last night.
A power fastball, 95 to 99. Curveball, a couple different speeds on its curveball also.
Chris Iannetta, the DH tonight, 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the fourth. Slider in there for a strike. Brandon Bowers allowed a run in the 8th inning on 2 hits. I know. Hits one out to right. Matt Kemp is there. 1 down. Brings up Carlos Perez. Kimbrel picked up in a trade with the Atlanta Braves in early April. After putting up terrific numbers for Atlanta. Five years with the Braves. Carlos looks at a strike. Oh, 4 years and 21 games. He had 46, 42, 50, and 47 saves respectively over the last 4 seasons. There's 11 this year. 0-1. Slider down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. All-star in the last 4 seasons. Johnny Giavatella's grabbed a bat. He's on deck. One outside. Carlos tonight 2 for 3. A single, a double, 2 runs batted in. 8 RBIs on the season now. Padres with 8 hits, the Angels with 10. Fouled off to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Only other game that's still going on is over Dodger Stadium. Braves leading the Dodgers 3-1. The game's in the bottom of the 9th. Two. Got him with a high fastball. 2 outs.
Very difficult to catch up to that fastball at 98 at the upper part of the strike zone.
So Giavatella will pitch hit here, trying to keep this inning alive. Give Ibar and maybe Trout, if you get to that point, an opportunity. Johnny hitting .259. He's 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter this season. This is line to right center field. It's a base hit. Kemp goes over, cuts it off. Giavatella's going to try to go to second. Here is the throw, and Johnny is out. A huge base running mistake by Johnny Giavatella. Mike Scioscia might want to have this one looked at downstairs. But a heck of a throw by Matt Kemp. You are the tying run, and you're already on base.
And it's the top of the order coming up. That's the thing. It's most important. Well played by Matt Kemp, and the perfect throw in and the tag apply before Giavatella can get to the bases San Diego wins this series 2-1 on this 5-4 with Cashner picking up the W with a perfect throw from Matt Kemp to second base.
Yeah, Garrett Richards, unfortunately for him, suffers the loss as the Angels drop this one by the final of 5-4. Stick around, Angels Live postgame is coming up next.